mining excavator to the smallest sewing needle. Even the tools and machinery required to make needles are trucks made of steel. Steel's tensile strength, the maximum stress it can withstand before breaking, is among the highest of all materials. Annual steel production tops 1.5 billion tons worldwide. Annual aluminum production, the next most important metal, is just 47 million tons. Steel's low processing cost makes it the key in building the infrastructure of the world. But there was a time when steel was hard to come by. The Iron Age. Blooms, masses of iron and slag, are forged into wrought iron, which is then formed into tools, weapons, and religious artifacts. Sparta, 650 BC. One Spartan is worth several men of any other state. Courage, ferocity, and a secret weapon. Their iron swords are packed in ground bone and charcoal before the last heating. A thin layer of steel envelops the blade. Swords made of softer iron and bronze are no match for this super weapon. Europe, 14th century. The military spurs advancements in metallurgy. Fueled by charcoal, finery forges convert nearly useless cast iron into weapons, stirrups and horseshoes, and 100-pound chain-link armor worn by knights. England, 1784. Henry Court invents puddling, a technique of making wrought iron without charcoal. Stronger and more malleable, it's used to build the Eiffel Tower, bridges, and the Statue of Liberty. This gateway technology also produces steel on a small scale. But steel remains too expensive to mass produce. Until London, England, 1856. Henry Bessemer patents the age-old process of blowing air through molten iron and simplifies it with the Bessemer converter, removing impurities like carbon. With enough equipment, skilled laborers are no longer necessary. For the first time, steel can be mass-produced. Its cost plummets, and demand skyrockets, especially for the railroad. Pennsylvania, 1875. Already the owner of construction and ironworks companies, Andrew Carnegie opens a steel mill using Bessemer's process, and the United States becomes a major producer of steel. Carnegie ships and railroads transport supplies to his mills, achieving a milestone of vertical integration. He also owns his own iron mines. By the 1890s, U.S. production surpasses that of Great Britain. Carnegie sells his company to J.P. Morgan, creating U.S. Steel, the first billion-dollar company in the world. World Wars. World War I brings further industry growth. U.S. Steel's production exceeds the output of all German and Austrian firms. Another U.S. company, Bethlehem Steel, run by ex-U.S. Steel head Charles Schwab, concentrates on government contracts. During World War II, its shipyard builds over 1,100 ships, 1/5 of the U.S. Navy's fleet. By 1945, the German and Japanese steel industries are devastated by war. With no competition, Bethlehem doubles its capacity. The demand for steel seems inexhaustible. But by the 70s, the company fails to embrace new technologies. Competition